Guys, in this video, I'm going to cover another interesting gaming project. It's called Earth from Another Sun. And essentially what it is, it's a Solana game that's a blockchain-powered open-world galactic domination metaverse, right? I know that's a lot of words, but players essentially have the freedom to explore an entire star system, conquer planets, build your own kind of armada, and create a variety of content in an ever-expanding universe, right? So, like I said, EFAS is being built on Solana. The game seems to have both a very strong FPS and space exploration element to it. So I've actually played the game. Actually, if you go on to earthfromanothersun.com, you can actually play the game by basically, I think it's like $30, and then like start messing around with it. So I can show you guys the trailer. As you can see, graphics are pretty good, and again, this is something that even while playing the game myself, I was pretty happy with how it looked. You essentially have, like all these cool worlds to explore. That's your spaceship right there. Let me see if they actually have any gameplay footage. Gameplay footage is right here. And yeah, you can see it's like pretty much like an FPS style thing. They have these big kind of battles. So these are usually like essentially, it's like a single player game with some multiplayer elements. So I believe the team is going to introduce more multiplayer elements, but right now you can only play on single player. Multiplayer is disabled. But I'm not sure how much of it's going to be multiplayer, because obviously doing a battle with like hundreds of players is very difficult technically, while doing a battle with maybe 10 players with hundreds of NPCs is a lot easier. But yeah, the game looks pretty cool. Honestly, it has that like galactic domination kind of basically vibe to it. The game has been in development for over 3.5 years as well, which is a pretty long time. Now, to be honest, they started out as a regular game. However, the crypto side of this game is pretty recent. So the Web 2 version has been in alpha for a while for pre-purchase and has gotten mixed reviews, right? This makes sense because the game is early. They've had over 10,000 players who've paid for the alpha version, assuming an average sale of $40 to $50, because the lowest price point is $30 and then the highest I think is like $90. Let's assume they've generated somewhere like $400,000 in sales from those 10,000 players, right? So they plan to support the Web 2 version, and they're basically, the Web 2 version is the same, except the Web 3 version has blockchain. So they're keeping the Web 2 version, which has no NFTs, blockchain integration. So it's a purely optional add-on, right? And really what this kind of makes me think is like, okay, $400,000 to $500,000 is not enough to develop a game, especially if you have a team. So especially a game of such ambitious proportions, right? So if it's an indie game, yeah, you could probably develop it for that amount, but for a big game like this, you definitely need more of a budget. So I assume they started going with the crypto angle when they saw that they could fundraise for it. There's a lot of opportunity. They had a game that's kind of ahead of the market in terms of development. So I do think that there is that side of it as well, right? Now the gameplay reminds me of a mix between No Man's Sky, where you can explore a vast kind of universe and galaxy, as well as kind of like Half-Life / EVE Online, because you have the spaceship side, you have the FPS element. There are clearly elements of Borderlands as well. So you start out with mainly FPS and RPG gameplay, but then it kind of evolves into, I believe, a more RTS style. So it's very ambitious. Now the team is anonymous on their website. However, I did find mention of a Freeman fan on a VentureBeat article. That person's LinkedIn is now deleted. So according to them, the founder is a indie game developer with over 30 million players who've played his games, who has over a decade of experience. They say their other team members have worked at Riot and Gameloft, and there are 6 people listed on their team page, right? Now, what's interesting is they're backed by some really big VCs, including FTX Ventures, Alameda Research, Lightspeed, as well as Solana Ventures. So I don't think they're lying about their background. They've raised $4.5 million, which was just announced a month ago. So they've raised some serious funding. So I do think there's some potential here, because they have serious funding. They have clearly a game that's very ambitious, and they've been able to develop it so far with minimal funding. So there is some possibility there. Now, with a game like this that's wildly ambitious, you do have to raise funding. So I do think that was one of the reasons behind the Web3 pivot. Funding is a lot easier when you're in Web3. Now, they do have an upcoming mint for their NFTs, which is, I believe it's on Fractal, and it's around 3 Sol. So don't really have too many details. It's for the Genesis ship NFTs, right? So you're buying ships, 3 Sol, around $100 to $110 at current prices. So overall, quite an interesting project. I have played the game. I enjoyed it for the 30 minutes I played it. However, I did get really frustrated because I would get missions and have no freaking clue how to go and do those missions, right? There wouldn't be any direction thing like go here. It'd just be like, go find these characters because they are going to fight. And I was just clueless. And so the game world does look good. I'm going to dive in deeper. I'll keep you guys updated. However, a lot of the feedback that people have gotten is, yeah, the game can be a little frustrating to play. It's very unpolished. So, which makes sense because it's an alpha release. So my advice is go play the game, decide for yourself. I'm not a player who really likes to mess around. I like to be told what to do. I don't like to figure it out for hours. So I kind of felt a little frustrated with the game, but I imagine for other types of players, this might be a lot of fun. So go play it. I think I see the potential here, right? So I'm keeping an eye on this project. I'm not sold yet, but I do see something really great that could come out of this if they're able to implement and really clean up a lot of the game. So yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any other questions, and make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, follow me on Twitter, and I'd love to hear more from you. Cheers.